Hello, my name is Catherine Baldwin and I'm a love, dating and relationships coach. I'm also the author of this book, How to Fall in Love, a 10-Step Journey to the Heart. I've created 2 wonderful courses based on my book, How to Fall in Love Laying the Foundations and Date with Courage, Clarity and Confidence. And we're about to hear from Kate, one of my lovely clients who's agreed to share her story of taking the Laying the Foundations course. Over to you, Kate.
The course has just been so helpful. Well, I was the common denominator basically in the things that were going wrong in my relationship. So I was like, I need to do something about this because it can't be everybody else that's got the problem. So I read your book first, which really helped. But I think doing the course gave me a level of accountability that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So I had to do the work. It really helped me clarify what'd been causing some, my reactions to people, particularly men. What was behind that? What was underlying that? And to start to sort of heal that, really. It just, even in any relationships with men, actually, not just sort of romantic relationships. And I found that really healing for me because it makes you feel tense and stressed and it's very easy in some ways, isn't it? It's probably quite natural as well, but it's very easy in some ways to kind of think, well, it must be their problem, not mine. And what it's also made me realise as well, like we talked about, you can know that you deserve better in romantic relationships, but actually accepting it and believing it are very different things. I was having relationships with men that never worked out for one reason or another, and it was like a recurring pattern. And I came to the conclusion that as I was part of that, it must be something to do with me, which led me to buying your book, which then led me to looking at your website, all those, and I'm thinking, yeah, actually, I need to do something about this because this is something to do with what's going on with me, really. And I need to do some work on that if I want it to change. But I have to at least start with me, really. I found the videos and the exercises really helped. They were really clear. It may have involved stuff that came up for me that was really difficult, but it was really clear. So it was really relatable. And it also helps you realise that even though it's not just you actually read, the stuff and you can see it. You think, well, I know it is definitely not just me. Because you can just think to yourself, well, it's just me and I'm just going to be like this forever. So one of the main things for me was I realised what I really wanted from a relationship, a romantic relationship, which I don't think I was very clear on before, and I think that was part of the block. I've also realised there's things about myself that I sort of need to heal, and we're all in the process of doing that, aren't we? For me to be able to respond and react to people in a much more healthy way, and for myself, to care for myself. It's also helped me to understand when I'm in a situation with a man that may feel good in the moment, that actually in general it's not good for me. So, if I'm with somebody, as I have been very recently, who's actually unavailable because that person isn't free to be with me in the way that I'd want him to be with me, even though it felt good at the time and in the moment, that's not enough. And that wasn't good enough for me. And I do deserve better than that. So those are the main things. They're pretty big things, really, for me. I don't think I would have got here by myself, or it would have taken a much longer time. I'm 46. No, yeah, definitely. It's just helped me to see things in a way that is much more helpful for me. But I do things in a slightly different way, which means that I do attract things into my life that I want, really. And I think that because I value myself more, people understand that. As I said before, it's not just about romantic relationships. I'm finding it's helping to improve all my relationships, and I feel happier because I don't have that sort of anxiety and that defensiveness that I realise now I did have. I trust you, absolutely. I mean, we've had conversations, haven't we, that have been quite difficult. I've had to talk about really difficult things with you, but I've never felt that I couldn't say those things or that you would judge me. I trust you 100%. And I never felt judged. I never felt ashamed of my experiences. I totally respect what you do and how you go about it, because it's incredibly helpful. If somebody wants to change, interrupt their patterns, grow in themselves, understand why they've ended up in situations, particularly when it comes to relationships, ended up in situations that is not what they want, and if they want to progress, move on and do the work, on themselves that they need to do, then I, massively recommend that. I have recommended it to my friends and people in sort of similar situations, or, people, whether they're in relationships or not, if they're difficult and they've said to me, this is the pattern, I have said, well, actually, you might want to think about this because it's really helpful.